how you doing today?
I'm well, thank you.
Alright, I remember in our last session you had said something and I wanted to discuss it with you. If that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, I picked up on the fact that you were constantly saying that you're a failure and, um, you think that you're a failure at everything and I wanted to try something to try and change that thought for you. Is that something that you're open to?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So I know this is only our third session, but I want to assign you some homework, and I'll go over with you what I want you to do, and we'll go through a sample this session so you know what to do for the next week. Okay? So what I want to do is it's called a dysfunctional thought record, and it's designed to help you recognize your thoughts as being dysfunctional and why they're that way, and to try to get you to think about different ways that you can change that belief or that thought. Okay? So I'm going to give you this sheet, and I'll go through it with you. So the first thing on the sheet is going to be the date and the time. And what I want you to do for that is just put whatever date and time that the situation is occurring. And we can go through an example right now as we go through if you would like to. Okay, so when's the last time that you felt, this feeling that you're a failure?
Last night
Last night? Okay, what happened last night?
I was thinking back at an incident that just made me depressed, and I got into that.
Okay, can you describe the incident?
It was a breakup with a boyfriend,
Okay.
and the way it was done, I felt was cruel. And sometimes I reflect back to that, and it brings out negative feelings again.
Okay, can I ask how it was done?
Yes, he had texted me.
Okay. So what I want you to do on this sheet is just write in the date and time for last night, and then you're going to put in that you got the text and, it made you feel like a failure, and you were thinking about that incident. Okay? So the next thing is going to be your automatic thoughts. So that's going to be the thoughts that you had after this incident occurred. So, you felt like you're a failure because your relationship didn't work out. And I want you to rate that. Give me like a percentage of, how much you believe that thought at the time.
It was about 90%, I would say.
90%? Okay, so I just want you to write that in. And then we're going to talk about the next column, which is your emotions. So I want you to write down what your emotions were at the time. And when you write that in, I want you to also put a percentage how much you believe that. So what emotions would you say that you felt?
Also 90%.
90% for what emotion?
The negative,
Sadness?
Sad,
Would you
yeah.
say? Anger maybe?
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So would you say 90% for sadness and 90% for anger?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to discuss with you an adaptive response, which is the following column. So for that, I want to go over the different cognitive distortions. Remember when we spoke about that last week?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think that you're displaying? Do you remember the specific types that we talked about?
No. Can you go over that one more time with me?
Sure, no problem. From what I gather, it looks like emotional reasoning, which is when you think that you're a failure because you feel like it even though that there's evidence that you're not a failure, because you have evidence that you're not, correct?
Yes.
Right. What kind of evidence do you have?
Well, I am a mom, and I have two wonderful children, and I think that's a positive in my life.
Okay, so there's evidence right there that you're not a failure. So if you could write in emotional reasoning for one of the cognitive distortions. And then another one that I think that you're displaying is magnification and minimization, which is when you kind of magnify the negative aspects and minimize the positive things. So I think that you're displaying two of those cognitive distortions in that way. So underneath that, I want you to think about what evidence that you have that your automatic thoughts are not true. So what proves that you're not a failure? Is there anything besides your children?
Children, work, I think I'm successful at what I do. I enjoy what I do.
Okay, good. So if you could just write that in. And I wanted to ask you, if you had a friend who was in the same situation, what do you think you would tell them?
I would try to be positive for them. I would bring out their good qualities and just be there to listen.
Right. So when you get these types of thoughts, that's what I want you to think about. I want you to think of, what positive qualities that you have. And, if you're going to tell a friend their positive qualities, you should be able to tell yourself, right? So I want you to try to do that. And then in the last column right here, I want you to put in how much you believe your automatic thoughts after going through this worksheet. So I want you to put in, you think you're a failure. In the beginning, you thought 90%. So if you're going to do it now, how much do you think that you're a failure?
It's not that high. Maybe 75%.
75? Okay, so write that in, and then I want you to do the same thing for the emotions. So the sadness and the anger. Those are both 90% also. So after, thinking about positive things and thinking about different ways to view the situation, what do you think your emotions would be at?
I'd say 70%.
70? Okay, so just write that in. And do you understand the worksheet?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so before our next session next week, I want you to try to do this twice. If you have 2 times during the next week where you're getting these thoughts or feelings, just take a minute, go through this, write down. I can give you a list of the cognitive distortions so you can look at it and think about what you're displaying. And I want you to bring it in next week and we can go over it then. Does that sound okay? Okay, great. Thank you.